And let me make something crystal clear. I never said Jeffrey Epstein didn't traffic other people, other women, and they're not other victims. This is the investigation we were given from 2006, 7, and 8, and the search warrants from 2006, 7, and 8. That's what we're working with.
Wait, one question, one answer from the day before, and the entire FBI position on the Epstein files just cracked wide open. This is Congressman Thomas Massie pressing FBI Director Kash Patel, not in the Senate, not yesterday. Right here in the House Judiciary Committee on September 17, 2025. The day before, in a Senate hearing, Kash Patel had delivered a direct, unambiguous answer. He stated there is credible information that Jeffrey Epstein did not traffic victims to anyone else. That single line became the public foundation of the FBI's position under his leadership. It was clear, it was definitive, and now it was being held up for scrutiny in front of the House. Massie opens the exchange by reading Patel's own Senate words back to him verbatim. He quotes the line about credible information and then asks the direct follow-up question. Have you launched any investigations into any of these people? These people he is referring to are the more than 20 powerful men whose names appear repeatedly across the Epstein files and the FBI's own 302 documents, billionaires, political figures, a prince, and others. Two clear and competing narratives are about to collide in real time. On one side stands the demand for accountability and full disclosure. Massie is operating from the position that names in official FBI records should trigger visible action, especially given the scale of the Epstein case and the public promises of transparency. On the other side stands the defense of legal procedure, victim privacy, and strict investigative standards. Patel is operating from the position that raw information must first meet a high threshold of credibility before it can justify formal investigations or public acknowledgement. Both men are calm at the very beginning. Both are measured. Both understand the stakes. But the gap between their questions and their answers is already visible. Massie begins the questioning by laying out the exact quote from the Senate transcript. He does not add interpretation. He simply reads the words and asks whether investigations followed. Patel's first response is careful and procedural. He explains that he directed agents to review the entirety of the files, specifically looking for credible information that could be acted upon. He emphasizes that the FBI does not release incredible or uncorroborated material because doing so would violate procedure and potentially harm innocent individuals. At this point, the exchange is still civil, but the first pattern is already emerging. Massie asks a narrow question about specific names and investigations launched. Patel answers a broader question about the overall review process and the credibility standard. The two men are not yet arguing. They are simply not answering the exact same question. Massie listens, then returns precisely to the same point. He references the list of more than 20 powerful men named across the 302 documents. He asks again, with the same calm tone, whether any formal investigations were opened based on those names. You can hear the first subtle shift in pressure. Massie is no longer just inquiring about process. He is highlighting the gap between what the documents contain and what the FBI has publicly declared credible. Patel reframes once more. He repeats that any information must meet the threshold of credibility before it becomes the basis for an investigation. He stresses that protecting victims and following proper legal procedure remains the priority at all times. The reframing is consistent, it is professional. But it does not directly confirm or deny action on the specific names Massie keeps raising. Massie does not allow the reframing to stand unanswered. He points out that the 302 documents already exist. They were created by FBI agents during the original investigations. They contain specific names and specific details. He asks whether those names have been pursued or whether the credible information standard is functioning as a shield that prevents action even when official records mention powerful individuals. The pattern repeats with increasing clarity. Question about the names, answer about the standard, question about investigations launched, answer about victim privacy and legal requirements. Each time Massie returns to the list, Patel returns to the process. The power clash is no longer abstract. It is playing out line by line in front of the committee. Here is the central tension you need to consider right now. Is Massie simply demanding basic accountability from the head of the FBI on one of the most notorious cases in modern American history? Or is Patel correctly defending the essential line between raw intelligence and actionable evidence? What standard should the public expect when official documents name powerful figures in a trafficking investigation? Drop your thoughts in the comments if you are following along so far. We read every single one. The pressure continues to build as the exchange moves forward. Massie makes the implication explicit. If the FBI director truly believes there is credible information that Epstein acted alone and did not traffic victims to others, then why do the files repeatedly mention these powerful men? And why has that not triggered any visible follow-up under the new leadership? Patel maintains his position without deviation. The FBI will act only on information that meets the legal threshold. Releasing or acting on unverified names would damage innocent people and violate established procedure. He returns once more to the credible information standard he established the previous day in the Senate. By this stage, the two men are operating on entirely different assumptions about what the 302 documents actually represent. Massie treats the repeated references in official records as something that should automatically prompt scrutiny. Patel treats those same references as data that must first clear a higher bar before any public acknowledgement or formal investigative step can be taken. The verbal tactics are now fully on display. Massie uses repetition and direct quotation to pin the question down. Patel uses consistent reframing and procedural language to keep the focus on standards rather than specifics. The final exchange crystallizes the divide in the clearest possible terms. Massie asks how the FBI can confidently tell the public there is no credible evidence of further trafficking when the documents contain repeated references to these men. Patel replies that the FBI does not release incredible information and that every lead is evaluated properly through the established process. No specific names are confirmed in the moment. No new investigations are announced. No ground is conceded by either side. The exchange ends exactly where it began, with two competing narratives intact and the gap between them fully exposed. What was said in this exchange is clear and on the record. The FBI under Kash Patel reviewed the Epstein files and stands firmly by the position that there is no credible information supporting wider trafficking beyond Epstein himself. Every review was conducted, every lead was evaluated against the credibility threshold, and victim privacy and legal procedure remained the guiding principles. What was avoided is equally clear when you examine the pattern. There was no commitment to investigate or publicly address the specific powerful individuals repeatedly named in the existing FBI 302 records. There was no confirmation that any of those named figures had been interviewed or subjected to formal scrutiny based on the documents. The credible information standard was upheld, but the direct question about the names themselves was never answered head-on. This single extended segment of the hearing reveals the deeper structural conflict at the heart of the Epstein files debate. One side sees the documents as evidence that demands immediate public accountability and full disclosure. So the other side sees the same documents as raw data that must be filtered through strict legal and investigative standards before any action or public statement can occur. The clash is not about whether the files were reviewed. It is about what the review actually requires when powerful names appear. The exchange ends without resolution. The two competing narratives remain side by side. The public is left watching the precise gap between what the official documents suggest on paper and what the official position allows in practice. If you want daily breakdowns like this, where we take the key moments from these congressional hearings and show exactly what was said versus what was avoided, line by line, without spin, make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications right now. We drop the next one the moment new footage lands so you never miss the real exchange. In that moment, who do you think won? The demand for immediate answers and full disclosure, or the defense of proper procedure and legal thresholds? Drop your verdict in the comments below. We read every single comment. And if you are finding this level of detailed breakdown valuable, hit subscribe and turn on notifications so the next hearing moment is delivered straight to you the day it happens. We are building a library of these exact exchanges, and the next one is coming soon. Who won this round? Massie or Patel? Let us know below. Subscribe, turn on notifications, and we will see you in the next breakdown.